the three-point conversion, making the cut. I'm Mr. Controversy. I'm here with my main man, Will the Sports Guru. I got the special guest, Big Google. And today, we're here talking about who is the biggest threat to Miami Heat in the East.
I gotta go with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, you look with their additions that they acquired this year: Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry coming off the bench. To go with their the players that they already had, Joe Johnson, Darren Williams. I mean, they got a pretty elite starting five, and they got a good bench too as well. Brook Lopez. I mean, these guys are tall, they're lanky, they can shoot, they got range. Jason Kidd now coaching them. He just played last year. I mean, he's gonna bring a lot of experience to the game. I think they're gonna show a different looks to a lot of people. Only thing is the biggest concern is you know, as far as playing together. It's the guys' first years playing together. But you're looking at guys that want championship rings now because they're in pretty much their final stages of their career. Kevin Garnett maybe 2 years at the tops. Paul Pierce 3-4 years at the most. So I think they got a great shot of giving the Heat a run for their money. So you got to look at the Brooklyn Nets when you talk about who's going to be the most competitive in the East.
I would say, yes, that's valid what you're saying, but when you look at it, you look at how old they are and whether or not they're going to be able to keep up after 82 games plus playoffs. And clearly Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, they got their problems with health in the last couple of years. You got whether or not Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, or Darren Williams gonna argue over who taking the last shot in the fourth quarter. So if that be the case, them gelling. I do think that Garnett is good for Brook Lopez, toughen him up, make him a little better, bring that defensive tenacity. But it's gonna be hard to bring defensive tenacity to two guards, a 1 and 2, that historically ain't got no history of playing defense. Right. Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, they ain't been no defensive nothing. So if that be the case, to motivate them guys. Me personally, then you got Indiana that folks gonna bring up. I personally believe Miami Heat is their own worst enemy. They the ones that'll stop themselves if that be the case. Because when it's all said down, come down to it, Eastern Conference Finals or Eastern Conference playoffs, LeBron James gonna plain and simple change the game. He's gonna make everybody wonder how can we deal with him, what we got to do with. Dwayne Wade gonna come through, and like LeBron said, when you double team me, when you try to stop me, I'm kicking it to my shooters. That's what we brought them in here. That's what they get paid for, and that's what showed last year.
Okay,
All right, you got Brooklyn, you saying Miami Heat. Y'all already know who I'm going with. I'm going Chicago, but I have valid points, people. I'm going to tell you why. You look at with Chicago defensively against Miami. Now we have two of the top 5 defensive players in the league, and your boy Luol Deng and my boy Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler, they'll probably put Jimmy Butler on Dwayne Wade. You got Deng on LeBron. He gives LeBron problems all the time. But then you got my boy Rose back. Now first, we physical. We know we too physical for y'all. You know that. I don't know if it's your team, but we too physical for Miami. We have Boozer bruising. We got Noah back healthy. Then we got Rose, who's unbelievably more explosive this year, man. Come on, dog. We just signed Dunleavy, Mike Dunleavy, who shoot the jumpers. We got this little rookie.
Wow.
But he can shoot the threes though. We didn't have that. We didn't have that last year. Now we got a 3-point shooter now.
All right.
Hold on. We got a 3-point shooter. We got a 3-point shooter this year. Okay, hold on. Y'all still got Miami. Still got Odin. They just got Odin, but you know he's gonna be hurt. So they still undersized, man. So I'm gonna go with Chicago.
Okay.
You can go with Chicago all you want to, but Mike Dunleavy, Greg Oden, these people you throwing up.
Hold on.
No, y'all. Miami got Greg Oden. My point.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, hold on. First of all, for you to mention Boozer in the playoffs, for you to mention Boozer, stop. Enough was said and done. But now, if you go back 2 years ago, LeBron James and Chicago, I mean, what happened in them Eastern Conference Finals? Plain and simple go. So if that be the case, anytime, I mean, he shut Derrick Rose down. If that, you know, so what happened on that?
Hold on, I give you that because that was their first time in the championship game and championship series. You look at LeBron. Hold on, LeBron been to the conference finals. What? How many times? 4 or 5 times, which he choked. Then you got Dwayne Wade. He's been there 3 or 4 times. So if you got somebody's first time being there, there's no experience, of course. And he said it after. He said, you know what? I messed up. I tried to put the onus on me and try to do everything I could instead of trusting my teammates. That's what happened.
Let me respond to what you said. First of all, Miami Heat, I don't think they're their worst enemy. Dwayne Wade is on his last leg. You put, I mean, I think he's on his last leg. The playoffs, his numbers wasn't what Dwayne Wade numbers were in the past. This guy gets injured every year. His shooting has gone downhill. He can't drive as much. He don't have that much of explosiveness. Chris Bosh ain't the Toronto Chris Bosh. Okay, he barely hit 18-foot jumpers. He's trying to take threes now. Okay, they bring in Michael Beasley back. I mean, come on, dog. The coaching. I think Jason Kidd is gonna be a better coach than the coach that they got right now. Okay, you talking about Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and their injuries. These guys are hungry. These guys, Jason Terry done won 6th Man of the Year. Okay, Darren Williams and Joe Johnson. I'm sure they're gonna rely on Paul Pierce taking that last shot. Joe Johnson won him a championship. Why do you think he wanted to get out of Atlanta? Because they weren't gonna get him a championship. Chicago, they're not gonna get the job done either because Derrick Rose gonna need another full year. He made an idiotic mistake by sitting out all last year. All of last year. When he could have played. He could have played the last half of that season. And so if you go back and look at injuries, it takes you a full year. Everybody ain't Adrian Peterson, even though this is a different sport. He's gonna need this full year to recuperate. He's not gonna be that same Derrick Rose of 2010. He's not 11. So it don't matter. Okay? It don't matter. Carlos Boozer, get out of here, man. He was playing his game was the best at Utah. Get the heck out of here. Luau Dang, he's not gonna shut down LeBron. You better off putting Gibson on. You better off putting your boy on him.
It don't matter who you put on. It don't matter who you put on him.
So and all in all, Brooklyn.
Who checking LeBron for Brooklyn?
Who gonna check LeBron? Paul Pierce always have good bands with LeBron.
And he called out.
LeBron have a hard time guarding Paul Pierce too as well. Not gonna go back. He ain't do.
Guess what? He ain't got to. You know why? You know why he ain't got to? Because he's 6'8", 260. And whenever you take a Karl Malone body and says, go check Derrick Rose, go check Tony Parker, guess what? Plain and simple. So nobody on no team got nobody.
He cannot guard Tony Parker. You know that. He can't guard Tony Parker.
What did he prove in the finals? What did he prove in the
too quick?
What did he prove in the finals?
They didn't put him on that.
Tell me you was overseas. Tell me you was overseas in Iraq.
I was right here watching it.
So because how in the world you watch this and this man is on Tony Parker?
Tony Parker, you mean he had 2 games where he was pretty much damn near unstoppable.
Who?
Tony Parker.
Okay, but what happened when it comes down to it? When it comes down to the final game. When it comes down to let's win.
Going back to the final game, I'm talking about over the series.
Okay, if
Tony Parker had a great series in that championship
except
series.
when it was time to do what? He missed the buckets. He didn't show up. He took the blame.
You can't say LeBron shut him down, though.
And when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, yes, he did.
LeBron James cannot shut down every point guard in the NBA.
What happened to Derrick Rose? What happened to Derrick Rose? He did the same thing. Go ahead, check it out. So all I'm saying is, who Brooklyn got that's going to,
Brooklyn is seasoned, okay? Brooklyn is seasoned. They got guys that are clutch. They got guys that are hungry, run to make a championship run right now.
Okay. And once again, LeBron won the title based on role players. No D-Wade.
Chicago's young. They got a chance within the next up-and-coming years. But you asked the question, going back to the question of discussion today, who's the biggest threat to the Miami Heat this year, up-and-coming year? You got to go with Brooklyn. I mean, the East is weak. Indiana, I mean, come on, man. They need some more experience. They young too as well.
You talking about Miami?
Got no experience.
Hold on, but you talking about Miami.
Brooklyn do got experience.
Last year when we played Miami,
you gotta think these guys got championship as well.
Hold on, dog. When we played Miami last year, they beat us 4-1. Everybody said, oh man, they killed y'all. Every game was competitive except for the game 2 when they blew us out. Other than that, it was competitive. They barely beat us. And we had Dang out. We had Rose out.
You're right. Y'all did have a lot of
Rose was hurt
up to the plate.
Come on, man. So, and you talking about Rose, because he took out here, that was an idiotic move.
Idiotic.
I'm gonna switch sports. Look at RG3.
Yeah.
No. Look at RG3.
Go back to what you just said. Go back to what you just said.
Look at RG3.
All those injuries y'all had, think about if this guy would have came back. How further y'all could have went?
My point, look at RG3. Look what he did. He came back doing jumping jacks and everything. Hold on. But then you look at him the first 4 games, what happened? He couldn't do nothing. He not himself, bro. But if you've been paying attention to the preseason games, you'll see that. Hold on, you'll see Derrick.
Like practice.
No, you'll see Derrick Rose is more explosive. You will see that. Going past defenders. It ain't
more
practice.
explosive than 2011.
Watch.
Okay, if that be the case, I can go with Chicago. But at the same time, when it's all said and done with Brooklyn, once again, like you say, you got Garnett, You got Jason Terry got a ring coming off the bench. You got Garnett, so they got one ring. Okay, they got a ring. LeBron got 2 rings back to back. And what I'm saying is, clearly he's the best player in the league right now. He's the best offensive player. He can play defense. If that be, well, in other words, you right, my bad. He best shooter. That BK LeBron, you know, he can do with his thing. You can't stop him. Anytime you enter the 4th quarter against a great San Antonio defensive team,
260. Of course you out there.
When you enter the 4th quarter with 12 points and you end up the game with 32, guess what? Enough said. What you mean?
Is diminishing.
You know, what team?
Miami Heat.
How you feel?
They done peaked out, and you will see this shit.
Dwayne Wayne will be all right.
Well, look, we about to wrap it up. So look, Will, I'm gonna go with you, bro. So you say Brooklyn.
I say the Brooklyn Nets. You got Jason Kidd coaching them. You got a whole bunch of team full of seasoned vets. You got shooters. You got big men. You got experience. You got rings on the team, and they hungry. You can't take hunger away from nobody, man. It's all in the heart, and they got the eye of the tiger. Watch out for Brooklyn this year.
Brooklyn, the only person on that team with heart is doggone Kevin Garnett as far as a career. You can say what you want to say. Relying on Darren Williams and Joe Johnson, that's a bunch of bull. You better get somebody else with some heart that's going to come off the bench and be able to play that 1 or 2. Because when it's all said and done, playoff-wise, neither one of them has been clutch, ever been known to be clutch. Miami, they got their own ticket written. If they stick to the system, stick to the program, they only getting better.
Well, I'm going to go with Chicago again. We didn't mention Indiana, which Indiana's gotten better. I think they just got Scola, Granger's back. But yes, still it's going to be Chicago with Chicago now. What we have, like you said, Brooklyn don't have, we have a finisher now. And plus, we're too big for Miami. We're too physical for Miami. The only reason why I think Miami beat us last year is because we was unhealthy. But they couldn't withstand that physicality. That's the show. 3-point conversion making the cut. I'm Mr. Controversy. I'm here with my man, Real Sports Guru. Thank you for my boy, Big Google. Shout out to Slim Jim. We here at Cindy Cuts Barbershop, so make sure you subscribe. Check us out on Twitter. Our Twitter page is down low. Check out the 3pointconversion.com. It's our blog page with great articles. Check it out. We see y'all next week. We out.